G'day, welcome back to Dad vs Son and our playthrough of Combat Commander. And we're up to the Italian turn. We're already at time 8 with sudden death at 7. So this is going on a little bit longer than we were expecting. We have the Italians with 1 VP. They are basically trying to hold the Americans back from advancing up the road, off the map, and getting away. And the Americans are trying to punch through. At the moment, we've brought these Italians under a fair bit of pressure up here. We've taken objective 5 off them. So we hold objective 5 and objective 1. The Italians still hold the other 3 objectives, 2, 3, and 4. Right from the start, they've stymied our try and push up through the Italian left flank. So these Italians have done exactly what they were supposed to do and held things back. Just give me a tick, sorry. Sorry, that was just Son wanting to know something. Okay, so as I said, so the Italians up here have done exactly what they were supposed to do. They've stopped the Americans from moving forward up this way and getting off the map edge up here, especially with the use of mines here and mines here. They haven't got as many. In fact, they've only been able to get this 1 extra mines. They started with these 3 and stopped these coming up. This little guy here, this squad, who's a veteran, is the main guy. He had a light machine gun to start with, and he stopped the rest of them from coming up this way. And they've basically become stymied, and everything's moved over to the Italian right flank here. So it's the Italians' turn, and they have a recover, which they don't need to use. They have a command confusion with light wounds, which may come in handy. They have another recover, and they have an advance. So they're not great cards for the Italians. Okay, so if we look from a smack him in the head point of view, we could try and advance with some of the troops here or all of the troops here and try and knock out our main people. The only trouble with that is that the American forces are a lot better. Up here we have a 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10 here, and up here we have a 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 2 is 9 up here. So, you know, these are pretty damn fine. Whereas the poor old Italians would be stuck with 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 2 is 12, which isn't bad, but it would take everything out of here to do one of these, and then there's a chance that what's left can move in, and I don't have enough. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, just to move them into here or here to push them out. So I don't think any of those really help. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm not going to worry about the advance. I'm going to get rid of the command confusion as well and leave them with 2 recovers. And that's 2 cards for them. And they've only got a couple of cards left. What have they got left in their deck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in their deck, unless we end up with the 12 before that. So back to the Americans. They have a fire, they have an artillery request, and they've picked up another artillery, another fire, and a recover. Okay. Okie dokie. So artillery's not going to do anything up here other than make a mess of everybody, which is not a bloody good idea. I could call in artillery from Sergeant White up into this area, or even up to this guy here. And I suppose if I can get the second artillery request in next turn, if possible, then maybe I can cause some damage. But I don't know that the Italians have 2 recovers. Do they have anything special that I need to worry about? And they do. Okay, so you know, that would give me an artillery request, which is just wonderful. Or I could start to fire, bring some fire onto these guys. Again, it's only worthwhile firing from here because I've got 10 smoke here, a 10 hindrance, which is really going to stop anything coming in or out of here. So I suppose I could even do a couple of fire actions and an artillery request just to get rid of cards. Just to get rid of cards. What do I want to do is the question. Okay, let's do an artillery request to start with. So we're going to do that. So Sergeant White again is going to call fire in using the 75. In on here again. So again, 1, 2, 3. We get 1 times 6 is 7. We don't do the event, so we don't. 1 times 6 is 7. 1 times 6 is 6. So we know it hits, and we'll see where it spreads to, and it goes 3, 3. Again, we don't worry about that. So 3 goes this way 1, this way 2, and it does absolutely nothing. So that's their first order out of the way. I think what I might do then is call in fire, and I might call in fire from the heavy machine gun straight up to here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's in range. He's got a range of 12. Or I could call in light mortar fire up to here. I could call in light mortar fire to here, in fact. That's in line of sight because we're looking up. No, we can't because he's way back. Don't be a dickhead. Can't do that. Can't do the heavy machine gun fire either. Idiot. But I could bring in the heavy machine gun fire into here because that's not a hassle. You can see up into there, and then I could bring the medium machine gun fire into there if I wanted to as well. So we'll actually do the medium machine gun first and follow up with the heavy machine gun if we want. So this is going to be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 6 plus 1 is 7. Going uphill is 6. Not great. Plus 6 is 12. And do I have anything I want to add to that? No, there's not. So this guy is up here for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And 4 is 15. He's fine. And the fascist hero is up there for 9 and 3 is 12. Plus 7 and he's fine as well. Do I want to bring the other fire in there then? Or do I want to try and weaken these guys a bit? We are. We're going to fire here down into here. So our other fire, and we're going to fire for 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 1 downhill is 8. And that's that. 8 plus 9, 17. That's a lot better. Okay, now do the Italians have anything to help? And they do not. So doing this one first, he's in there for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the light machine gun team. 11 and 8, 19, he's fine. The squad is in here for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 and 5, 17, and he is hit. And they have nothing to help with that. Right. Okay. And then we have Sergeant Ottolini in there for 11 and 4, and he is hit. And that is the Italians' last card. So if they need to draw another card, then we're going to be at time again and see what happens. So that's all the Americans can do, and they get 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. So the Italians at 1 VP, they have 2 recovers, 3 recovers, and an artillery request. First thing they are going to do is a recover, which means they have to draw a card for one of those 2. So it is at time. So we'll grab the Italian cards. They go up to 2 VPs. We'll give these a shuffle. Now, 2 VPs, it's anybody's game. And the Italians probably want this to finish. So they want less than the time marker. Did I move the time marker? Sorry, the VP doesn't go up yet. The time marker goes up to time 9, I should say. So the Italians want an 8 or less. They want this over and done with so they can pull back under cover of darkness and get out of here. They've done what they had to do as a blocking force. They've slowed the American to shoot right down. But it's still anybody's game. Okay, so here's the Italian deck. We'll cut it. The Italians want a 8 or less. And they get a 6, and that's game over. Righto. So that's where we stop with 1 VP. But the Americans have 2 secret objectives. And this is where it's going to come into it. So the first one, the original one, is that objective 4 is worth 1 VP. And objective 4 is this one here. Yep, so the Italians are now on 2 VP. And the last one is that objective 3 is worth 1 VP. And objective 3 is over here where the Italians are holding. They get 1 more VP and they finish with 3 VPs, and they have successfully held up the American advance. Bloody well done. Bloody well done. Okay, so could the Americans have done better? Yes, I was... Because the Italians started with, what was it? 12 VPs to start with and 4 of the 5 objectives. I really didn't want to take American casualties because that would have just played right into the Italian hands. So I was very, what would you call it? Chary of taking any sort of casualties, and I really waffled and stuffed around over here to start with once my original plan was thrown a major spanner in the works. So this really never did anything over here with the Americans wise. The Italians did a wonderful job over on their left flank. On the right flank, again, I waffled a little bit, but when the Italians brought in their reserves and plonked them straight here, when my medium machine gun was sitting here and everything else was sort of sitting around here, again, that held me up with a fair amount of time trying to get rid of them and then trying to maneuver up and around so that I actually had a chance of coming up through here to these objectives. Did I waste time? Yeah, again, the Americans have only a 6 morale to start with, which makes life extremely difficult, whereas at least the Italians start with a 7. Even their leaders start with a 9. Well, some of them do. Ottolini was an 8, but the hero was a 9. Forget about that. But yeah, so from a morale point of view, it was easier for the Italians to come back than it was from the Americans. And seeing as the Americans had to do a battle of maneuver, and they were out in the open trying to assault uphill, it was very easy for them to take casualties. And in all honesty, if we look over here, in the end, the Americans took no casualties. Yeah, we had a unit knocked down into a team and stuff like that, or 2 units, in fact, 2 squads. But we took out, 1, 2, 3, 4 of theirs, plus a team, plus a leader, for the reduction of 2 squads. And I think from that point of view, as an attritional sort of battle, the Americans did fine, except they didn't meet their objective, which was to get through the Italians. So I think, again, it was a tactical victory for the Italians this time, but again, it's the strategic defeat, because they would have to move back at some stage. They were only a blocking force. The Americans took no casualties as such, so the Italians were attrited. So a great tactical victory for them. I take my beanie off to them and say, bloody well done. And that's where we come to an end. And life was made a lot easier by the Americans getting a radio as well, even though it was only a 75mm. That did help a little bit, just with smoke and so forth, if nothing else. So thanks for coming along for the ride. I hope you have enjoyed it. I know I've made mistakes. I can't... In the playthrough, I didn't really pick too many up, but I'm bound to say that I've made mistakes. I don't think it's really affected the outcome as such too much, but it's been a fun ride. I've enjoyed the scenario, and I think in the end, it was a damn fine result. And I think the result goes to the team that deserved it, which was the Italians. So thank you very much. Take care, be good, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.